Like, I took off my clothes today for $4.
Money is nice, but you give so much to do it.
You are not going to make $1,000 every single day.
Struggling making money because the club is so dead.
So if you didn't make $300, you made negative money. I've had to battle in every other dancer I know.
Skrippers say a market crash is guaranteed because the strip clubs are suddenly empty.
The man that provides for a stripper, there's a stupidity in that.
$120 for a 7-hour shift?
Yes, I ran out of all my money. No, I don't have savings.
Hey guys, welcome back to More to Life. Now, before I get into this video, I ask that you like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get right into this.
So basically, it's not all sunshine and rainbows over here. I spend a lot of time on this account glorifying my job and talking about how much I love being a dancer, but I thought I would make a video kind of pointing out some of the cons because I, in no way, shape, or form, want these young people to look up to me that follow me on this account and think that it's all sunshine and rainbows over here. Number one, which is also a pro, but in a lot of ways can be a con, is the money. The money in this industry is extremely inconsistent. You never know what you're going to make day to day, week to week, month to month, or even yearly, and so that can be really hard for a lot of people to budget or fall back onto, and then you realize you're not making the same that you were before. There's been times when I've made thousands of dollars in one night, and then the next night I literally make $0, and so that inconsistency can be really, really hard for a lot of people.
Extremely hard. Could you imagine that? You made $3,000 one night, and then for the next week, for the rest of the week, you get nothing, and then it could happen next week, you get nothing. Especially with the way the economy is going now, I wouldn't want to be a stripper.
We agree.
Financial instability. Yes, there are some girls who work at these clubs in these bigger cities who will walk out with 10 grand in a night. I've also seen girls walk out with $10 in a night. You can't really plan for things, and I know that this made me, especially with my credit, really hard getting things like a car, a house, etc.
To all the girlies who want to be a dancer so bad, don't do it. This is not your sign. Any video you see, this is not your sign. You know how rare it is to get a club that's like consistent like that? It's very hard. It's not very easy. I worked and I only made $4. 2 girls out of all the girls I worked today made over 100 today. Like, I took off my clothes today for $4. Do you really think that's worth it? No! Don't say this is my sign. It's not. I promise. Stay to your office 9-to-5 job. You guaranteed money. Me not.
I compare a job like that to working for tips, right? Believe it or not, these women are wilding. Right? Yes, I'm using ghetto lingo. They're wilding because I've worked many years ago, but I was working at Dave & Buster's. When it was Dave & Buster's, and you guys know about that place. And on a Friday and Saturday night, some days I would clean up $400-$500. And it's sad because you become a scripper and you're thinking, I'm going to make some money. A lot of times they don't. They're telling you realities right now. And it's the same thing with OnlyFans. Women are also getting into OnlyFans. I'll go into that. You've seen that already. You've seen people do it, but yeah. These Skrippers are struggling. And I think this needs to be shouted to the mountaintops because there'll be other women that'll get into something like that thinking, oh, I want to make some money, or they don't have any life skills, or they may have not gone to college. No, as they're telling you right now, that's not the move.
Let me tell y'all something. These girls are glorifying being a dancer, but there are a lot of negatives to it. I was a dancer for 5 years at the age of like 17 all the way to like 23. More of the story, yes, you make money, but it comes with other things. Please be careful out here.
I see a lot of girls on here romanticizing, but I want to give you the very raw truth of what it's like. This may have been one of the hardest weeks, and that's what you see the newer dancers do, is flex the money, show the money, count the money. But let's talk about what you don't hear about. This is a very dangerous job. And this is what I mean when I say not everyone can do this job. The money is nice, but you give so much to do it. And now I just want to show you the new bruises I got this week.
Damn. Man, she went through some, I don't know what she was doing, but yeah, man, this is wild.
Get your side of being a Here we go. So surprisingly, I'd say number one is the money. I know you're gonna think like, what does she mean, the money? The money is good. Yes, the money can be good, but then sometimes it's not good. There's nights you can make 1,000, 2,000, and then there's nights you make nothing. So every single night you are dealing with like a roller coaster of emotion, like, oh my God, am I gonna be able to afford this? Am I gonna be able to afford that? Or like, imagine if it's a really bad month or whatever. So you're always stressing about money. So yeah, money can be really good, but you constantly stressing and think like, oh, it's never enough, because then you've got things like a pandemic hitting you, and then you're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, because it's not consistent, right? A lot of people need consistency, especially a lot of these women are not organized. A lot of these women don't plan out, right? They don't plan on saving. A lot of these women have no savings. So they're living day to day, continuously living day to day. Then imagine some of them, they live beyond their means. They go above and beyond. They go, okay, I want this brand new car. Some get out of hand. I want to get this brand new. And they can't afford it. And before you know it, now they're counting their pennies, and tomorrow they may not get any money. Could you imagine that? Because I knew when I was a server, on certain days, just like a stripper, I had guaranteed money, but I knew the money I was going to get when that day came. It's a lot different. It could be a Saturday, usually would be a good day for a stripper, but nobody shows up. Maybe it's a Sunday, it's a football Sunday, or something else, right? Or some reason, or there's some reason why a lot of guys will show up on a Saturday. More guys get said, you know what? I'm tired of spending money on Skrippers. Let me go to the club.
Up, y'all. So I've been getting a lot of messages from ladies saying, can you please share some more videos? And one thing about it, I want to work on being more transparent and vocal about this, because I notice a lot of people get on this app and only share the glamorized aspects of being a dancer. They don't really get into it, and it can be very misleading for people who's trying to get into the industry. So I'm going to tell y'all the ugly truths of being a dancer. First things first, you are not going to make $1,000 every single day. You are not going to make a bag every single day. Please get that out of your head immediately. Exit out. It really be like that, to where there'll be 70 girls in the club and only 8 customers come in throughout the entire night. It really be like that sometimes, to where you have to stay down till you come up. And I'm left with as $13. It really be like that some nights, to where you're struggling to make $100. It is what it is.
Damn.
Okay, but what if I'm never able to afford to move out? Like, and I'm struggling making money because the club is so dead. It's so dead. A realistic money count as a in 2024. 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40. That's it. That's always it. Where are the $500 days? What happened to that?
Well, I'll tell you. Reasons why you should not be a especially with the progression of TikTok. It is so easy to just look at all these videos and see all these girls making all this money and be like, oh my God, why am I not doing this? It's not that they're lying or that these things aren't actually happening to people who dance, but it kind of glamorizes and brushes over the bad parts of it. So let's get into it. First of all, dancing is not for everyone, and it's not for anyone forever. There will come a point where you physically can no longer do it. You are going to get old, your ankles are going to give out, will most likely develop knee problems.
Yeah, all these problems will happen. And they come on you suddenly, and they come fast. Because that is a fast life, but a slow life at the same time. It's wild.
So I just found out, like, a lot of people don't know that strippers pay to work. So basically, you go in, and, like, depending what shift you work, what club you're at, the rate is different. My home club was really, really low compared to every other club I ever been to. There was a couple like go-go bars I danced at in Jersey, and their house fees were crazy, but it was after 7. So if you got there at 7 p.m., which is way too early if you're trying to stay till 2 a.m., then you only had to pay 25, I think. And then like after 7, it just kept getting higher. So if you came at like 10, your house fee is almost like $100, if not over $100, depending on the day. Miami's house fees are ridiculous. It's like $300 after tip out and house fee that you are spending just to have work. So if you didn't make $300, you made negative money and nobody cares.
Wow. Negative money. No one cares. And why would they? They provide the name and they provide the busy nights, right? They provide those nights, especially in Miami. They provide those nights when all the guys say, tonight I'm going to the strip club, which is probably every Saturday. They provide those busy nights. That's why girls, they almost fight to get on at a certain time. Kind of like you see the Players Club, right? The woman fighting. You ever seen that? Like the woman having the stripper fights in the back. They fighting over getting the top spot. And it's wild because you fighting over that. But yeah, when you're in Miami or something like that, or certain places in New York, you're going to make a lot because those places are popular cities, especially Miami. Or if you're in California, you could be in a place where it's always bumping, where a lot of guys come and spend money, but that's not the case. Same thing with OnlyFans. Not every OnlyFans girl is going to make a lot. That's a hard grind. Same thing with scripting.
My second point is going to be about bad days. Like, yes, you see girls on TikTok and YouTube taking home thousands of dollars a day. And that's fantastic. It feels amazing when you do. But it makes those bad days feel even worse. Because there's going to be days you take home $50, $0. The club is slow. Everyone's making you mad. It's hard to realize how much that takes a toll on your mental health. When you have these amazing days and then you have these horrible days, I think it makes your self-worth very tied to like income and tangible items. And it's a really unhealthy cycle that I've had to battle, and every other dancer I know has also had to battle because it looks really flashy and glamorous. But like I said, this job will make or break you, so choose your battles wisely.
Get a job.
Since TikTok is very much glamorizing the dancing scene right now, I feel like it's really important that I go over the dangers of the job.
$120 for a 7-hour shift? Yikes.
Okay, so yep, it was about 7.5 hours. $10 difference with the food, but if that $10 would have been added to the money that I made that day, this would have been a little bit higher, but that's still, let's just say like $18 an hour. And $18 an hour isn't terrible. This video wasn't to say, hey, you're going to make $300 every night, you're going to get rich, this is a get rich quick scheme, because it's not. They think that all this money is in that industry and they're going to make so much money, but little do they tell these girls that literally their self-respect goes down the drain. You really start to hate yourself, and your mental health just goes down the drain along with everything else.
How do I know this? You got girls in here that are literally having to do extras, go in the back, you feel me, to make their money, because they're not really just getting it from talk game and being on stage and being able to really do tricks and dance and have a good clientele in that aspect. They have to go and offer extras to everybody that walk in the club. And now if that's something that's up your alley and you feel comfortable with doing that, go ahead and take your to the strip club, by all means. You feel me? I'm not putting the girls down because I've done it. But they can go help their grandma on Section A with her bills that they know is overdue, then to be throwing some money at you. So you think you finna just get that money free and easily how it used to be back in the day? You just gotta be pretty, have a good little flow with you, and be able to dance and get that money. Yeah, it may be a good, I would say, like a good 30% chance that you still may have some wiggle room to just be cute and just get by. It ain't like that no more. They want you to work for that money. They gonna have you work for that money. They gonna have you doing them extras for that money. What time you leaving the club? Can you come to this B&B with me? That is not sweet no more. It's never been sweet, but it's definitely not sweet now because times is hard. Because you're going to be losing more than what you're getting. Y'all got to understand. It's a house fee. You ain't going to nobody club to dance for free and then make some money for free. You got to pay them. So imagine you going to somebody's club to work 6 p.m. You paying $60 to $70 to get in and you ain't make a dime back. I know. I've done it. And this is back in 2022. Well, times wasn't as hard as it is right now. Baby, I wouldn't dare step foot in nobody club again. I learned my lesson. You got 5 girls working together for one night in the club, bringing a celebrity, bringing an artist, a rapper, whoever, or bringing a doughboy. Doughboy will come in there and throw $2 grand for $1,000 back. Do the math on 5 girls and $1 grand to split. Y'all been in his section all night? Do the math on that. It really not adding up.
Man, I can't lie. I really felt it with that girl because she let me know, and when she said the extras, that right there hit me because I know that happens. A guy says, "Hey, little," and a lot of times women will go for it because they have to, and that's why guys all the time, right? If a woman says she's a scripper, you see it all the time on Pop the Balloon, right? What happens when girls go in there and say I'm a scripper? Every guy rejects it. And I remember I seen one time where this girl had a big old thing. And I'm sitting there like, if she got a thing that big, and it looked real too. I said, if she has a thing that big, you think guys, especially on slow nights, aren't saying, hey, how about if she's getting offers, thousands of offers, and she's accepting a lot of them. So yeah, guys aren't dealing with it.
Strippers say a market crash is guaranteed because the strip clubs are suddenly empty. This article is a few months old, but I had to share it because it is hilarious. These strippers on Twitter were talking about how they can predict the market trends and forecasts way better than any finance bro. Basically, people were making a lot more money during COVID when it was unemployment, stimulus checks, and now gas is higher, rent is higher, and there's layoffs, so less people are going to the strip clubs.
So they say a market crash is guaranteed because the strip clubs are suddenly empty. Now, they got to be in Miami. These are probably Miami or New York or LA girls on a strip where it's hot, right? But definitely probably in Miami. And that's not true. But there will be a sudden market crash. There will be something that happens. Right now, we're in a time of turmoil. And who's famous for saying it the most? Winter's coming. That's the thing. That's the saying that's been going. You've been around in these spaces for years, but it's happening. And maybe they're right. A market crash is guaranteed because the strip clubs are suddenly empty. Yeah, when the strip clubs in Miami are empty, probably how they are now. I'm sure it still pops some nights, but mostly they notice a difference in their paychecks, right? They seen their pay go down. Instead of making $5,000 a week, they can make in $2,000. So that's broke. You're making $2,000 a week in the US, you are broke. Think about that. Think about being a scripper. You have a few good months, maybe 10,000, and then you go all the way down to 2. That's how they know. That's probably how they can predict. But that's wild. That's funny. They see something coming. Maybe it is.
Because a man that provides for a stripper, there's a stupidity in that. Because you know this woman's transactional, and yet you're giving her money, she can't respect you. But the man she has to pay for, whether he's like a bouncer that's on half her wage, or he's just a personal trainer that she has to cover the rent for, she's more likely to fall in love with him. Because at least he's not stupid enough to financially invest in me. And the part of her unconsciously respects him more than the CEO that's going to buy you a house and a Range Rover because she's like, you're so stupid.
Hey everyone, Lilith here, talking about your day-to-day stripper stuff. So I just want to talk about how everyone's like, oh my god, strippers make so much money. And sometimes that's true, and sometimes it's not true. How much money you make as a stripper doesn't really depend on how good you look, how well you dance, anything like that. I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't matter or help, but the girl who looks good versus the girl who talks to a lot of guys is going to make way less than the girl who talks to a lot of guys in one night. So you got to have a strategy. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know who you're going to talk to. You can't sit around and be pretty. You got to hustle the whole time. If you don't, you might not even make minimum wage. You might not even come out with anything. You might do your tip out. You might pay your house fee and then end up with nothing at the end of the night if you don't have a strategy, ultimately.
I'm outside of my work Debating whether or not I should go up to my boss and just quit my job. Why? Because I don't feel like I'm making enough money. I feel like I'm really broke. Like, I can barely pay my bills. My credit's horrible. And so I've been seeing a lot of TikToks where obviously the Skrippers are making a lot of money. Okay? And yes, I do have some jelly rolls. And yes, I do look like a tied up ham hock. But beside the point, I can probably make a few more pennies than I make here.
You can't make this.
Okay? Or I can just go sell drugs. I don't know. I'm debating. There needs to be a way where we can make more money. Okay? Because I would like to get my hair and my nails done.
I'm a stripper. At least I was last month. It's been a couple weeks since I've been to the club. I am having a really hard time going back. Yes, I ran out of all my money. No, I don't have savings.
Why am I not surprised?
Will you see me in the club today? No. Is my makeup ready as if I am going? Yes. I just think I'm experiencing burnout, which I don't know how that's possible because I haven't been to the club in weeks. I just can't seem to get there. I get ready, do my hair, do my makeup, but I just don't want to go.
God, I can't spend eternity here. This place.
Get ready with me while I tell you how I'm gonna go bankrupt at 26 years old. I also just got my ear pierced 4 times, so that's the best I'm gonna get my headband. So my whole shtick is to be like the nice stripper, you know? The stripper that everybody sees as a friend. While that benefits me greatly in most scenarios, a lot of the times, and I mean a lot of the times, it makes it very hard for me to keep long-term regulars. I mean, like, it's hard for me to keep a regular more than a few months. I've never kept a regular for even like a year. So while being the nice stripper initially works very well with me and customers, what starts to happen is over time, those customers start to develop feelings and that I am developing feelings. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you've ever been nice to somebody before and they take that as flirtatiousness. That is literally my job, to be nice to people and process flirty and sell this fantasy. What keeps happening to me is these customers who keep asking me to hang out outside of work and I'm like, no babe, this is my job. And then they're like, well, I thought you really liked me. Like, you were being so nice to me. I thought you liked me. And when you've gotten to that stage with a customer, you can pretty much just expect that they're not going to be spending that much money on you anymore because at that point they were only spending money on you because they thought you had feelings for them. I feel like the feelings are not being reciprocated. You could say goodbye to that. I love to say that I'm not all about money and that I show up because I love my job, but my job is a job. I'm not going to show up and work for free. And while there's very many perks to my job, I love a lot of things about my job, I'm not going to show up and work for free, no matter what kind of job it is. And that's just what's about being the friendly, personable dancer. People automatically think that since I'm so nice to them and I'm so friendly, that it completely discounts that I'm there to do a job and expect things from me for free and completely take advantage of my niceness. As much as I'd love to be that dancer who is just all about her money, shows up, makes her bag, hustles, customers outside of doing dances, I've never been that person. I love doing small talk. I'm like everybody's best friend. While it's also coming back to bite me in the Anyway, the biggest lesson that I've learned is I'm not going to make any money by being nice to everybody, but by being too nice to everybody, I'm also going to lose out on money. Dramatic, and I haven't gone bankrupt yet, but I will if everybody keeps catching feelings and stops coming to see me at the club because they think I also have feelings for them. Unfortunately, my toxic trait is I'm nice to a fault. I'll be nice to you no matter what, but the thing is, in this economy, I'm gonna have to start charging y'all for being nice. It's gonna have to. Moral of the story is you're allowed to catch feelings, but your feelings don't pay my bills. So
the worst thing about being a stripper is like the part of you having to get ready for work, like thinking about actually having to go. Oh my God, I do not want to go home. I don't want to go.
Yeah, so don't. Because every other woman realizes they're getting smarter and they see there's no money in it and the money is not worth it. The OnlyFans, there's no money in it. How you think you're not going to make that and it's not worth it. But you don't see it. But a lot of people are starting to realize there's definitely more to life than doing something degrading like that.
He ain't lying.